around asking employees from different companies, how do you like it? And when Facebook came out, the first, apparently. But Facebook is more than just a simple social network. And apart from the motto, making the world more open and connected, this is the company's mission. What open means having access to information, right? Being able to share it with everyone. And connected is keeping in touch, basically. So this is the mission. But apart from this, there are a couple of very nice projects. And as a start, I want you to watch a video with me. It's about a project called internet.org. Let's see. Let's set up the movie. Right.
I am not referring to the absolute, infinite concept of universal peace and goodwill, of which some fantasies and fanatics dream. Let us focus instead on a more practical, more attainable peace. This will require a new effort, a new context for world discussions. It will require increased understanding, and increased understanding will require increased contact. So let us not be blind to our differences, but let us also direct attention to our common interests. Our most basic common link is that we all inhabit this small planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's futures, and we are all mortal.
Right, so as the video suggests, this is a very ambitious project. It's called internet.org. Facebook has teamed up with a couple of other companies from the tech industry to bring up the internet to the people. And if you're interested in how they want to do that, then you can find more details on their website, internet.org. And then the other cool project, the other thing I want to talk to you about in this intro is Facebook Stories. Facebook Stories is a place where all the videos and moments of people using Facebook in great ways are gathered. So for example, there was the story of this guy from India who lost his memory completely and then used the Facebook feature called People You May Know to get his life back, you know. And I think that's great. In a sense, we all use Facebook to do great things. You have to share the best moments in our lives with our friends, right? Or even the simplest facts, but, you know, to get a new girlfriend, to make new friends, things like that. We all use Facebook in extraordinary ways. Some of the best stories are on that website, so if you're interested, check it out. So the employee to user ratio at Facebook is one of the smallest, which is why they permanently encourage you to help the other employees. And this is what the first poster is actually about. Nothing against Facebook, is somebody else's problem. This is one of the main models about Facebook's culture. So basically, your work doesn't necessarily have to relate to your team. If you can help others, then they will always appreciate that. At other tech companies, they're more like focused on their team and stuff. But on Facebook, you get, on your first day of training, you clone the entire website locally. So it's like this atmosphere of a startup company, if you want, even though they're not a startup anymore, but they're very good. And you have access to absolutely everything. You know about every new product release, and so on. So they encourage you to help other people as well. So if you have a couple more time you want to help other teams, then you're free to do that. They really appreciate that. And of course, move fast and break things. This is a classic one from the campus. There's posters with it everywhere. This applies to engineers maybe. Okay, let's get a little more technical. Here's a list of teams, of engineering teams at Facebook: messagings, applications, Open Graph. Open Graph is an interesting one. So currently, when you search Facebook for say, a celebrity, you're probably going to find a couple of pages, maybe tens of pages for some. And it's this guy's job to make sure the graph is as accurate as possible, to remove duplicates, to only keep the verified pages there to be as accurate. And they're doing a really good job to try to improve it every day. Then growth, ads, search, and mobile, of course. I'm going to spend the next 5 or 6 minutes talking about my intern project, just for you to get an idea of what an intern project is like. But before I do that, I need to clearly illustrate the difference between Facebook profiles and Facebook pages. This my project was focusing on pages. So first of all, profiles are designed for people, for me and you. And then pages are designed for businesses, celebrities, for everything else pretty much. Facebook profiles can have friends and followers. All pages have fans. Profiles, only one account administrator, of course, UoM. Well, there can be multiple admins with different roles. Ads manager, content manager, administrator, just a couple of roles. And then, of course, Facebook pages have ad campaigns for them. Ads are currently the main source of income for Facebook. So that's very important. This was my first project. So it was split into two. I was an iOS developer. The first thing I did was I worked to improve Pages Manager. So Pages Manager is an app page admins can use to check the status of their page, to send messages to their fans, to engage more people, to promote posts, to view the insights, and of course create ad campaigns. But it was missing some of the fundamental features users could do on the main websites. One of them was to add an event creation feature, which was missing. This was my very first task. And the other one was to create a new page inside the app. This is a smaller one, but still quite significant. So I spent about a month working on the Pages Manager features. It's an Objective-C, like most iOS apps are. So that's pretty standard. And then the second part of the intern project was this guy, the Composer for the iOS app. The Composer is that screen where you create a new message or you want to share something, you compose it, and then you pick your target. This actually saves time, because before you had to go to different screens, select the target in one screen, and then go back, select why you want to share. It was a little confusing. And this new interface is not fully rolled out yet. I think it's only 3% of users have it. It's useful for pages, for page admins to post as their page. For example, they just tap on the top, and then this will reveal this pop-up, destination pop-up, and just choose if they want to tag as their page, they want to share the content as themselves, and so on. So I'm going to talk a little about the implementation process, about how the workflow goes at Facebook. Those of you who study computer science, actually most of you will be maybe interested in that. So first of all, you start by obtaining a local copy of the organization. It's usually, in iOS, I work with Git. They also have other systems in place, like Mercurial, but I work with Git. That's for iOS. Once your code is in the hard drive, just implement your changes, and then you submit them. This is the point where they get reviewed. The reviewers are, I wouldn't say pretty harsh, but there are some code standards you need to follow. But that's good, because when you have a project with 5,000 or 6,000 files, it would be really awkward to see everyone's style in there, everyone's code style. It would be a mess, right? So there are some standards you need to follow, but they have a super nice training program for that. In the first couple of days as an intern, and you really get used to that. So, well, at first, bits of my code were rejected. It was normal, but after a week or two, most of it got accepted from the first time. So if you're differential, they call it differentials. You probably know about this. If it's rejected, then you make further changes and then go back and repeat until it gets accepted. Once your code is accepted, it's not over yet, because you need to resolve the Git conflicts. Like I said, the projects are massive. So it's not uncommon for a lot of people to make changes every day. There's hundreds of changes to the same app every day. So it's not uncommon to get gig content, so you have to deal with that as well. And then once you solve them, you're free to make your code. Well, for iOS, I think that there's a release every month, pretty much. But for the main website, they do it once a week for the main changes. But if there's something really urgent, there's daily push programs for that. So if you're working on something that really needs to be done or fixing a bug, then your code is going to be in the repository the next day. But normally it's once a week. About how they determine if your work is of high quality or not. Well, they use this tool called BuildBot. And what BuildBot does is that it runs, once you submit your code, it runs automated unit tests on it. So if something breaks, it's going to detect you and screen it. But there's an IRC channel for that, and people are going to detect who broke the code and come in and ask you to fix it. Differentials in a very nice tool called Fabricator. If you're interested in talking more about these technical details, at the end. And then of course, compatibility with iOS 7 was a big one this summer, because we wanted to be prepared by the time iOS 7 got released. So with every single beta version Apple released, there were changes we needed to deal with. So sometimes we just have to go back and redo some tasks with parts of them. And then of course we have user testing sessions, which is another great thing. So basically, we find people around campus, employees who are not really familiar with the product we're doing, and we just handed them the device, and asked a couple of questions, like, how would you do that? If they knew how to do that, then we would know then that the app is user-friendly for someone who's not familiar with it. And this is another method of determining the quality of your work. Achievements and results. We've got $10 million for Pages Manager for iOS so far. And it's a little overwhelming to know that 10 million people out there use the code you wrote in a summer. It's quite a nice feeling. It was in the newspapers as well, in the blogs in the area. It's impressive to see a couple of biggest technical sites and blogs featuring the changes made. And then of course, we got requests for additional features. Enough is never enough, is it? As I said, the average rating is 3.5 out of 5 for the app so far. But done pretty well. This is mainly because people want more features, which are still to be implemented all the time. So, a couple of fun facts for my intern project. But before that, you probably noticed that the two projects I've been working at were a little small. But that's only because your intern project is only a very small part of your internship. And the rest of your time you're going to be spending in events such as hackathons. And hackathons are like sessions where employees gather together and do something nice with the website. So for example, I worked in a super fun hackathon project. It was a cool feature in the Facebook events. Hopefully that will get rolled out soon. I'm not allowed to tell you all the details yet, so I'm not sure if you're going to pick it up. But it's really fun. Some people implement apps such as have a Pokédex for every employee. When they finish a task, they get a Pokemon. So it's really fun. Like I said, yeah, the Facebook apps have, the iOS apps have thousands and thousands of files. And whenever you clean the project and you have to build it again, you feel free to take a look. It's probably going to take 7 or 8 minutes or something like this. It's never over until BuildBot says it's over, of course. And this is a fun GIF we use in the comments in Fabricator for the tasks. And then finally, if you move fast, your efforts will always be rewarded. Come on, with Pokemon. So it's a fun environment. Every time you finish a task, you know, Pokemon, every employee has his Pokedex. It's super fun. And oh yeah, and another hackathon project that's actually nice. One of the guys did a script. And if you sign up for that, if you run that script on your computer, you would only get the cool Pokemons. Because there are 500, so there are multiple generations. But this script was just, if you run the script, you only get the first 100, so it's the popular ones. Alright, let's get to the part you will enjoy. So first of all, I worked in the main headquarters. There were about 20 buildings there. It's like a mini city, like a town, like a Facebook town. Of course, has a gym, a basketball court, football, yoga. They really encourage you to do sports. There's also a cycle program for interns. So basically, if you get a bike and use it to travel to or from work, they'll reimburse you for the bike, which is quite cool. So they really encourage you to do some sports as well. Then of course there's 3 meals a day for free. And kitchens, micro kitchens with unlimited snacks every day. There are a lot of choices when it comes to food. You choose between Mexican restaurants, 2 big cafes, sushi place, burger place, pizza place, a sweet shop, and a couple more. It's about 12 or 15. Then of course there's a music room. I play guitar in my free time, so I would sometimes take a break, an hour break or an hour and a half, and book that room, play guitar with some other employees. It was pretty cool. Then for interns, they also pay for your accommodation. And like I said, they'll reimburse you for your bike. And yeah, you kind of need it, because in San Francisco and in the Bay Area, you really need either a car or a bike, because sometimes places are quite far away from each other. But then, of course, they also provide transportation if you want to, if you're lazier. They'll take you to and from work every day, so you don't have to worry about that. There's about 4 or 5 shuttles a day, so you can pretty much choose your time slot. The hours are pretty flexible. The earliest I've ever been to work was 9:30, but sometimes I would go at 11 or 11 and a half, it depends. When I was doing the hackathon, even a little later, because I talked to my manager. Oh yeah, some of the hackathons were overnight as well, so it was quite fun. They got food trucks over on campus, campfire, people playing guitar, and it was quite fun. Then of course this employee carnivals, I think there's 4 a year or 3 a year, and an intern carnival as well. We play carnival games, we eat carnival food, and stuff. Oh, it was fun as well. It's a day off pretty much. And of course there's the hackathons, which I've already talked about. Hairdressers on campus, a lot of intern events and trips. So I got to see Alcatraz, the theme park, what else? A couple of other events. Oh yeah, treasure hunt in San Francisco. That was fun as well. They split us up in teams, and then they set up challenges. It was great. And then we would post the answers to the questions in a Facebook group, of course. Oh yeah, Facebook freebies as well. From day one, you get a Facebook backpack, Facebook t-shirt, and a couple of other things. And there's also a Facebook store on campus. You get a voucher for that as well. And celebrity visits, yeah, that's also an interesting one. Barack Obama visited 2 years ago, I think. Who else? Miley Cyrus a year ago. And this summer, actually, it was Jay-Z who came to campus in one of the question and answer sessions. Oh yeah, every Friday there's a question and answer session. It's so like I said, it feels like with Mark Zuckerberg. So it feels like a startup company, even though they're quite grown. But yeah, you can ask them questions. He would give you updates about what happened this week, that particular week with the firm. And then you can ask questions. I think it's really important to have this direct relationship between the CEO and all your employees. Like, he's one of us. His office was in a building right next to me. It's just, he doesn't have like a special status or anything. He works for tasks as well, like we do. So kind of a big family for me. Yeah, that's the photo of me at the Intercontinental. And to the right, there's a Facebook micro kitchen. There's a couple of them in every building. Actually, on every floor of every building. So, and you can have, the snacks are unlimited. There's fizzy drinks, water, milk, yogurts, and then the snacks as well, Kit Kats and Snickers and things like that. You get them every day. Right, I'm going to show you a video of how the campus looks like on Friday night, Friday evening. Well, fun. Yeah. So as you can see, everyone's pretty relaxed, right? There's some people playing hockey there. This is what happens on Friday night, Friday evening. It was about 4 p.m. Oh, there's people riding bikes as well around campus just to get quicker, just get faster from the building to another. There's about 20 of them. It's quite cool. It's like a Facebook account. Oh, it never rained. That's not an interesting aspect. Not a single drop of rain. The whole summer. I forgot to mention that. So yeah, the weather is great as well. Right. So I'm going to talk to you about how to apply a couple of steps. So make sure you note down those links if you're interested. They're also printed on the flyers we'll hand out in the beginning. So for an internship, it's facebook.com/weintern, and for full-time, WN for engineering areas. Then at the end of the event, you should look out for Raj. Give your details to her. It's going to have an iPad you can sign up to register your interest of working with Facebook. And then there's going to be 2 or 3 phone interviews, at least for an internship, because this is what I did. So I had 2 phone interviews. The 45 interviews, pretty standard for those companies in the industry. There's a programming challenge, and you have to solve this problem in an online text editor, so the interviewer actually sees what you type in real time. But you get to choose your own programming language, which is good. You can use Java, C++, PHP, C, I think even Perl, Ruby. Yeah, and then you get to choose your office pretty much. You can choose one, and you can choose the main headquarters. It's up to you. To help you sort out the visa and everything you need. So yeah, let's have Raj talk about this interview process. So Raj is one of the recruiters at Facebook, so give her a hand.
Thank you for having me. Hopefully you'll hear me. You've done a great job of talking about Facebook, but I'm delighted to be here at Manchester actually this evening. In terms of the process, so where we're at this point in time is we're currently accepting applications, and the actual international full-time applications are as per those timetables up there. So what will happen is we'll actually review applications on an ongoing basis, and we're currently doing that at the moment. So if you're interested in applying, apply as soon as possible. If you once you've applied, you'll probably hear from someone like myself. We'll give you a call just to see what your interests are, why you've decided to apply to Facebook, and talk you through the process from there. If you're successful at that stage, that's when you go through to the phone interview stage for internship. So this is specifically for an intern position. With those particular phone interviews, we would just recommend that you're in a quiet area, you have good Wi-Fi. Those interviews tend to take place in the evening because all of those interviews are done by our engineers in MPK, in Menlo Park, so it's a good time difference. So they'll always be after about 6 p.m. And as Gabriel mentioned, there will be some form of off-programming challenge. We'll also be asked questions about why Facebook and why you're thinking about applying to us as well. And the key thing about those particular phone interviews is just to stay calm, ask clarifying questions. That's one of the key things with any of these coding interviews that you go for, programming challenges, is just ask these clarifying questions. If you're interested in a full-time position, however, Slightly different. You start off with those first few phone interviews, but following that, you actually come on site for what we call a full loop. That's where you have 2 interviews that are technical interviews, and where you'll be asked to actually solve some coding problems in person, of course, but with a whiteboard. And you'll be asked to write your code on a whiteboard. So one of the things that we recommend is you actually start practicing it, because one of the things that a lot of students come across when they come in to interview to the full-time stage is writing on a whiteboard can be a bit more challenging than actually typing it like as we're used to. And then of course there'll be another interview around sort of just your, asking about yourself and your interest in Facebook. So the 3 interviews in total, and then we provide you with an offer outcome. So that's the full-time process, it's slightly different. In terms of choosing your office, so when you apply, if you decide to apply to any of those links up there, if you are initially screened and successful, I'll actually talk to you about what your preferences are. Whether that's London, New York, Seattle, or Menlo Park, California, which is where you did your internship. The process for all of them is exactly the same. And with regards to particularly the internship process, you can apply from here and get the phone interview. In terms of your location preference, we can discuss that during the interview process. And we're open to all. We provide visas for all situations, whether that be based in London or to be based in the US. So that's really the process that I wanted to talk to you about. I guess one of the things I wanted to reiterate, and I'll talk to everyone about this here, is one of the key reasons that we're here this afternoon, and we'll be coming back hopefully early next year, we're looking at some dates to book ourselves and to be back, is because we recognise Manchester as being a fantastic university with fantastic talent like ourselves. I frequently hear from students on campus, I'm not so sure about applying, I'm not sure about getting, but please do apply. I'll be around later on to talk to all of you as well about your interest. And you stand a very strong chance, so it would be great to see more applications coming through from Manchester.
Alright, thank you, Raj. Alright, it's time for the quiz. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. First 5 questions are about the presentation you just see. So if you paid attention, you have a really good chance. Then for the next 5 questions, we're going to have Marius from the Coding Dojo. They're going to be more technical, slightly more technical. And the last 5 are about how you use Facebook. So, Marius, can you help me out with the prize? Great. Alright, let's do the first question. What's Facebook mission? Alright, I see a hand in the back.
To make the world more open and connected.
Right, that's the right answer.
What size do you want?
Do you want a t-shirt or a laptop bag?
Laptop bag, please.
Alright, let's move on. Feel the energy. Right, that was actually the answer. Well, so the next question. Name one Facebook slogan. There you go.
No problem.
I'll take that. Yeah, it's very similar. So nothing gets paid for somebody else's part. T-shirt or laptop bag?
T-shirt.
What's that? M, L. Okay. There you go. How many active users does Facebook have on a daily basis? No? Let's have another one. Alright, you.
699.
699, let's see. Yeah, that's the right answer. T-shirt or laptop bag? T-shirt.
What size do you want?
M? M. Is L alright with you? We're gonna have L's and S. Alright, that's cool. Are you ready? Name 2 engineering teams. Oh, you're ready first. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. T-shirt or laptop bag? Small? Okay. Yeah, I think so. Right, we have 11 questions. So let's see. Yeah, search. Yes. Okay, let's see who paid attention. What color was Mark Zuckerberg's secret photo? Right, let's take someone at the back as well. You for your last row.
Gray?
Yeah.
Was it gray?
No, it wasn't red. Right, you. No? It wasn't black. Green, no. That's your son. No, it wasn't white. Alright, you. Not really. Alright, you. Great, yes. There you go. If you see dark blue there, then it's because of the brightness. T-shirt or something. T-shirt? L or S? It's great, I'm sure you mean. If we increase the brightness. Okay, yeah. The next 5 questions are going to be a little technical. And for that, I'm going to introduce you Marius Popescu from the Coding Dojo and his Movember mustache.
Hi guys, so my name is Marius. This is my Movember mustache. So I'm here. I'm one of the organizer of the Coding Dojo meetings. So I'm gonna ask you like 5 technical questions, 5 coding interview questions. The first 3 questions are basic, easy questions. And then the next 2 questions are gonna be some questions that I got during my interviews with Facebook. So I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna share with you the questions. So maybe you will get that questions again. So the first question is an easy one. So what's the data structure used by Facebook to represent their... Okay. You?
Oh, that's right.
Right, who said it first? He said the guy. Yeah, you get the t-shirt. So... yeah, so basically they use a graph. And the follow-up question that they may ask you is what kind of graph is that? Is that an oriented or an unoriented graph? And another follow-up question that's a bit harder is how can you represent 1 billion users in a database or in a graph? So here you need to say how we can split all the users across multiple machines and how we can have lookup tables to identify where a user sits. So, for example, the people who are born in Manchester, they are going to sit on the server and stuff like that. So the next question is going to be an easy question that even Barack Obama knows the answer. So, yeah. What is the most efficient way to sort a medium 30-bit integer? Yeah. Is it not bubble sort? Yeah, but what is the correct one? Radix sort. Well, basically it's not radix sort, because radix sort, if you use radix sort on this data input, is going to be, the complexity is going to be n times 32. So, but if you use another solution, so close one, that's right. You? No, that's n squared. You? 3 sort. Yeah, that's about it. So what's the complexity of that? What's the complexity of 3 sort? Yeah, so some kind of heap sort. So it's pretty hard to choose which one you guys answer because there are so many hands up. So right. So the next question, I'm sure you all guys know the answer to it. So this is a typical interview question that you ask. So if you're given n-1 distinct numbers and the values of the numbers are between 1 and n, how can you find the missing number in the array?
Using XOR.
Yeah. How can you use XOR?
Well, maybe if you XOR a number with itself, it's going to be 0. And you're looking for the X amount. So any non-zero value is going to be 0.
Yes, something like that. Yeah. Well, so basically, a simple answer to this question will be to calculate the sum of your inputs, and then you can calculate the sum of all
Do
the
you want to
numbers.
use the board?
Yeah. So for example, if they give you this integer, this array, 5, 3, 1, 2. So as you can see, n is here 5. So you get 4 integers, and their values are between 1 and 5. So an easy solution will be to calculate the sum of all these numbers. So the sum of these numbers is going to be 11. So if the sum of your array is going to be 11, and then what you can do is you can calculate the sum of all the integers between the interval 1 and 5. And I'm sure you all know that's an arithmetic progression. So if you do 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5, you know that this equation can be solved by doing n times n plus 1 div 2. So in this case, if we do 5 times 6 div 2, this is going to give us 15. And if we subtract from 15, if we subtract the sum of the input, which is 11, this is going to give us the missing number, which is 4. So if we do 15 minus 11, this is going to be 4. And this is the number that is missing from the array. So this is an easy answer. And then you can choose the harder answer, which is better but is harder. So you need to XOR all the numbers, and then you again need to XOR all the numbers between 1 and 5, and then do another XOR on those answers. So it's something like you said, but not actually. So yeah. So the next question is going to be a question that. So the next question is the question that Facebook asked me in my first interview with them. So, given an array, remove all the duplicates from an array. So how can you do that in UoM? So for example, if they give you 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. So remove all the duplicates and keep only the first occurrence of the element. So how can you do that in UoM time complexity?
And this is a harder question. You're gonna get a Facebook hoodie for that.
Oh yeah. So far we gave t-shirts and we have
T-shirts and some others.
2 hoodies for this question. For this
For question 9 and 10, we have Facebook hoodie.
Could you move it into a tree, and then if you come across a number that you've already come across, so like a 5, it won't be less than or greater, so you just won't add it to the tree.
And what's the complexity for that?
No.
That's an again, and there is a faster way of doing that in linear complexity. Yeah.
Restrictions are, so I know the biggest number I have, I can just make a whole completion of these all the numbers, and when I come across a number, I just mark it in C, and if it's already in C, I don't add it to the list.
Yeah, so basically what he's trying to say is that you use a hash map or a hash table, and and you go from left to right, and you insert your elements in a hash map, and then the thing is that if you can check at step I, you can check if your element is already in the hash map, and if it's already in the hash map, you don't put it in the answer. So yeah, so that's again time complexity, because you can get constant time access in a hash map, but the disadvantage of that solution is that you use a lot of memory, so the memory for that is going to be UoM. But yeah, that was the right answer.
Hey, the final technical question.
Yeah, the final technical question is a problem that Facebook is an algorithm that Facebook uses every day. So, for example, when you go on your friends page, you will see a number saying 5 mutual friends or 20 mutual friends. So now the question is, given 2 arrays of user IDs, so one array representing all my friends and another array representing all my friends, how can you find the mutual friends? Yeah, and how can you do this in OM time complexity? Yeah.
Sort using counting sort and print only the numbers who has 1 and 1.
Sort using counting sort.
Yeah, which is complexity m plus k. So you can use OM to simplify it. And then you look at the indices, because when you do sorting, you increment once, so you have to do right into the right. You see, you have to increment, you print it out, and you take 2 matches.
So what's the complexity for that solution?
M plus k.
K being what?
That's how the number.
How? The biggest number.
Be beautifully. So,
Yeah, but you can do this in all. So, yeah.
In order to use one, you store the friends you use all the friends, bring them in a hash table, and you find one that already exists, and then you can also print system.
Exactly. So what you can do is you can insert all your friends into a hash map, and then just go to your friends, and then check if that user is in the hash map, and you can do this in OM. So yeah, well then, yeah, that's the correct answer. So yeah, so this is the kind of stuff that we do at Coding Dojo. So at Coding Dojo, we meet every day, and we solve coding interview questions, and we prepare for coding competitions like ACM. So actually, next weekend we're gonna go. So this weekend we're gonna go in Netherlands to compete in the Western European contest. So yeah, you can see the success story behind Coding Dojo, because Gabriel was one active user, one active member of Coding Dojo, and he got a job at Facebook. And you can see Mikhail around. He's the one who started Coding Dojo.
Way up.
Yeah, he's there. So he's a very active member of Coding Dojo, and he got an internship at Facebook as well. And I'm one of the organizers, and I got an internship at Twitter. So these are the kind of success stories behind Coding Dojo. So we highly recommend you to come to our meetings, and we prepare you for coding interviews. Do you have any questions for me? Yeah, thank you.
Five more. These ones are about how you use Facebook in general as a user. Right, let's see. Name 4 search types in graph search. Right, you were first. Oh, you already got something. Yeah, you already got your prize. So let's just let our people win. Yeah.
Friends, places, pages, events.
Ooh, what?
Events.
Events? That's actually not important yet. Will be. So you said?
friends, pages, groups, and photos.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fine. T-shirt and lots of bag. Alright, 4 more. And then on your way out, of course, you can grab a Facebook spot from the table as well. Oh yeah, just the actual answer. So you're going to forward to music, videos, places, games, people, of course. Event search is not yet supported, but will be very soon. And also story search. How do you make Facebook look like this? Alright, I see a hand in the back.
US English as language.
No, it's not really US English. Right. To what? Yeah, yeah, you change the language to English upside down. T-shirt and laptop bag. Laptop bag. So indeed, you can just change the language. You got English pirate, English upside down. Let's get the Facebook Easter eggs. Right. Next question. How do you use profile pictures, icons, emoticons in chat? Colon? No. Backslash? No. Close, but how many square brackets?
2.
Yeah.
What do you want?
A t-shirt or laptop? T-shirt. L, M, L. Yeah, so indeed you just type the username of the person. 2 more questions. Pay attention. What's the maximum number of pages you can like with Facebook? It's not 2,000. But you already got your prize. Let's hear some other answers. It's 5,000.
T-shirt or
T-shirt. Sorry. T-shirt. Do you have medium? All right. It's a final question, but don't be sad. It's like there's some swag there you can grab. Make sure you get it first. Right. What is Facebook/us redirect? That's it.
Login page?
What?
Login page.
No. You just tried it right now, didn't you? Alright. Nope. It's not the US version of Facebook, by the way. It's not a profile page. That's Facebook/me. You at the back.
About page.
No. Wait.
About you.
Wait, you already have a t-shirt.
Information about Facebook.
No. How about you? Close, but I won't take that as an answer. It's not really precise. The relationship between users is your username / question mark and equals the other username. You?
That's information.
No.
Family?
No, it's not family either.
The mission you're talking
No. It's not the mission. At the back. Last row.
Is it your profile?
It's not your profile. What about you?
Is it couples page?
Yes. That's the answer I was looking for. It's like a couple page for you and your girlfriend. T-shirt or lots of time. Alright, thank you all. Wait, don't leave just yet. In about 5 minutes, we'll be in the bike cafe area. If you have any further questions, we can chat there.